Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Olga Donchenko. I'm a seasoned realtor with Cohen Homes and Estates. I'm excited for today's interview. I have Cole with me. He is the owner of APV, which is a media and marketing company. The reason I'm excited is because I've had the pleasure of working with Cole for many years now. So has our team. And it's been an amazing experience. You've really guided us through all of our marketing in terms of photos, videos, like drone footage. And there's a lot of new things always in store when we're working with you. So why don't we start off, I guess, right away? It's a burning question. People always ask me, why use a professional photographer or videographer when it comes to listing a property?
First, I didn't realize it would come with all this flattery. So I think the most important part of like hiring a professional photographer or videographer, not just us, but any, is we at APV really believe that we're a reflection on you as the realtor. And like we all know when we see a listing that has no photos or cell phone photos, like we all laugh. If we have buyers, we're like, oh, underrepresented. Like there's a deal there. And especially it's an interesting dynamic because you're in luxury. The photography is a reflection on you. And just like when they ask if you have a good stager, if that's important to them, you got to be able to deliver that. It's important to get those photos because everybody has kind of come to the agreement that photography is necessary, professional photography, a long time ago. And now we're to the point where video is almost a requirement. And I think in your sphere of luxury, it's pretty much mandatory. All eyes are on all of us. So we got to make sure it's the best we can, the best light, and everybody's going to see it, their cousins, their friends, their family, and this is all, this is the salesman side of like talking to the realtor, but as it pertains to the homeowner, there's a whole bunch of stats, and I rarely like taking this approach because I know the realtors are worried about like the cost to them, so there's a way this will make them more money, but for their clients who should be the most important thing to them, the photos will get more attention, especially if you're going for multiple offers. It's like any of that extra attention helps. When it's bad photos or bad media and there's no rush to go there, it's way different when you know it's well priced and it looks amazing. You're like, oh, stop what you're doing. I got to go see the place. So it'll help sell it faster and for more money, and Redfin and all of those companies have studies on that, but I rarely quote them.
I couldn't agree more with you. And I would actually say, no matter what it is, like I would say within our team, I know that even if it's a lease, we will still hire professional photography. We will come to you guys. Yes, the packages may vary a little bit, slightly, but it really makes a difference because first impressions matter, and they matter a lot. And I feel like now, it used to be that first impressions were happening at the front door when people arrive for the showings. Now they're happening when they're scrolling through their phone and looking at the images. So if you really don't stand out, and actually that's my next question, what are some of the tools you employ to make sure that your photography, the product you deliver, really stands out among the crowd of other listings?
We can get super technical, but even before we get into like the lenses we use and why we decide to do things a certain way, I encourage all of the realtors, in your office, on your team, and all of our realtors that they can call and tell me about the property, and we can search it on Google Maps or go on video calls. But I've even gone to listing presentations or even like a pre-listing, like let's go see, give them that kind of game plan. I've gone with them to do that, and then on my side of things, we're looking at, okay, what is the homeowner like if they're picky, because we can always still do the best job, but sometimes, to taste, it's different. And then what we're looking for is like, how does the light come in? Are they staging it? Are they not? What can we do? And then one of the things I really like to do is also ask about the homeowners. Like I'll ask them this question. I'll say, tell me something I don't know about this and that the realtor doesn't know about this property. Like, what is your best memory here? What do you like to do? What are you going to miss about it? And they'll say, we like to entertain. I like to spend time with the kids and the family in this room. And then we know, let's even, if we can get talent, whether it's the Realtor or Realtors Network or even paid actors, we can kind of sell them that dream life. Because I know we're all obsessed with real estate, but what we are, like, you don't move to that house because of the paint or because of the size. You're moving to that bigger house to fight less with your spouse maybe, or do all those. So I like to come from it from like a masterful architectural photographer lens and like a video producer, but also from the marketing side. And I think that dynamic, not to toot our own horn or like whether they use us or not, like we're happy, but
They will.
yeah.
They should.
Yeah, but one of the big things with that is when a realtor is almost underrepresented in terms of they don't have someone who's taken ownership of marketing. A lot of realtors take it upon themselves, but I obsess over marketing all the time, and I'm trying to think of like I love to go to war for you guys, and like I know that
We know.
I know even Barry is he's very like he doesn't play that game. He's not worried about commission. He just wants to satisfy the clients, and that makes me want to do it even more. It's like I hear like people trying to get into his market. I'm like, no way. Like you've trusted me, let's do it.
For sure.
So on the technical side, also we use like wide angle lenses, the like widest on the market to make properties look big, but sometimes that's not always ideal. When we do architectural photography for builders and people that aren't just trying to make it look large, we'll do tighter lenses, and then, like I said, I think we'll do vertical sometimes because the MLS allows that, and some shots just look phenomenal like that as well. So
Just to complement a little bit onto what you were saying, it sounds, and this is what I've experienced, as a very customized approach. So every client, every seller we have, you really essentially interview them and work out a custom plan that would work to market their specific property, which has been great. And on the other side, I've also noticed that you can tweak your styles, because I've seen you do shoots which are more like magazine style, and maybe you're just highlighting certain elements of a property just to give you that feel and invite people to come in and see the rest of the home. And then, as you said, other ones where you're doing more of the wider lenses and you're covering more features in one image, which also works great. And it's interesting to me, observe how you tweak and switch and combine the different styles to really push out a great product.
thank you. Yeah.
My thought actually got me to when you were talking about presenting a property and asking the sellers or the owners kind of like what's their favorite thing about the house. Storytelling. Do you see that coming into the weight of marketing real estate? At least on the luxury side, I think I've noticed that a lot of the properties can benefit from the storytelling approach, where you're not just showing them pretty images, but really digging into like in making the buyer envision their lifestyle there.
Yeah, this is a huge trend that we're seeing. So in our industry, like we have communities and people are talking, and it's oddly enough who seems to be at the forefront of like media for real estate for whatever reason is Australia. And this whole push for the highest production value, like videos and storytelling, it caught on much faster there. It's already been a thing, so the quality of videos there, like, it would blow your mind. My first guess is that the homeowners there pay for the media. And so when you're the realtor, if you're not paying for it, you can look and say, oh, you know what, that person charges $10,000 for a video, but you've got a $2 million property. It's probably worth it compared to what you can get. And so they're doing storytelling, and it's making its way to the United States, and we're seeing it more here now. And I think, like, I'm super excited for the challenge and like where we're going with this, because I think we're going to see more. And yes, it means like it's more expensive, but even on my side of things as a business owner, I'm not a one-man show. It's like, okay, my talent's getting more expensive too. Right. So we're all getting to create bigger, better things, and it's like a race to that status where, a gold place in the Olympics might have to work 10 times as much as silver, and he wins by like a millimeter.
Incremental, yeah.
but the results that gold gets you is also, exponential. They're not making, a $5,000 difference, whether it's sponsorships. It's almost all or nothing. So if you like competition.
So how do you see it becoming available to us, maybe through your company, or how do you see it coming into the real estate?
So yeah, so in terms of those higher production value, that's one of the things we do. You can talk to your photographer, videographer, but one of the cool things that I'm seeing now with this is this also is opening up to the avenue of production companies that don't normally do this. Now you're getting into a much more expensive kind of category. It might be $5,000 or $10,000 for a video, and that's probably a shock to a lot of people. But you're either going full, like with full purpose into this, or you're not. It's that in between where you're not taking it as seriously and you're not getting all the results, but you're spending more. If you're going to do it, this is going to be a marketing piece for years, right? There's a guy out in California, I think his name's Tim Smith. Shout out to Tim Smith. He was very helpful at this conference I was at and answered a lot of questions. But we were seeing that he had spent $30,000 or $40,000 on a single property campaign. And he's speaking not in just like videos, it's campaigns, it's a rollout, he's in the luxury market there. And they're hiring actors, they're shooting on Red cameras, like that's a $10,000 camera setup, but they're shooting on like a $100,000 camera setup. And it looks like Hollywood. We're more than happy to have that conversation, but I think if you're just kind of dabbling with it, testing it out, your current provider, you could say, why don't we try this? The key piece of advice here I would give you is anybody that's used to spending on the low end $200 for a video, $400, $500, even $1,000, expect to pay more. As a marketer, I also get to see the videos do better. I look at the analytics. If they're trying to run lead gen campaigns, they get more leads. If they're trying to get the most amount of traffic, which I think you all are on your listings, Realtor.ca, when you log in, you can see how many people clicked, and you can see how many people click your bio. And so if you've got a nice video in your bio on Realtor.ca and you want to kind of bring traffic there, you'll get more traffic even just with like a photo, like a twilight photo, because it's different. But if you have a beautifully written and captured and edited video that tells a story, I've seen videos that made me cry, and those will make a huge impact. And then sellers, we've made sellers cry, not in a bad way. So yeah, I think that's a huge opportunity.
Yes, and real estate, I feel like it is an industry that's filled with emotion. It's a home where people raise their kids. It's a home where they have engagement or first dinner with the family and things like that. So there's lots of emotion tied to a real estate transaction. So I feel like a video that can really generate an emotion from a buyer, that's going to stand out for sure and attract them. So in today's market, like in today's days, what kind of tools do you use or features do you employ in order to capture a luxury real estate property?
So luxury specifically, we definitely spend more time on site, and the kind of tools we're using right now is like definitely a lot more drone. It used to be rare. I was like one of the first videographers in the city to really do a lot of these. Definitely not the first photographer, but kind of caught that trend. And drone was few and far between, but you want to show the area. And then the microphones, like on the tech side, we're capturing audio from the agent's intro or voiceover. But I think the tactics is just from seeing what's been working when we're running ads for agents, or I always like to mastermind with them. Twilight photos, twilight video, those evening shots when you've got the beautiful lighting, especially. It makes a huge difference. And yeah, I'd like to have dinner at home with the kids, or but for those of us that can go out in the evening and do that, it makes a huge difference. And again, it's just one of those steps above the competition. So the bar is just constantly raising. And then we already spoke about the storytelling stuff. And then I would love to see agents running more ads for kind of conversions, but even just brand building. I think they would see a lot more value in what we do when they do that.
And for video, which channel do you think is the greatest potential? Do you think it's YouTube, Facebook, Instagram? Like, which one do you think really is the way to go for a realtor trying to expose a beautiful listing?
Exposing a beautiful listing, I'm biased because I love YouTube, but I would say YouTube. I think the each platform has its own, and this is where I think like having a marketer in-house or even just consulting with us or anybody you kind of trust in that realm, I think thinking of it as a campaign, and so TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook Reels, so Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, and TikTok, those can be what's called top of funnel, and so it's little interest, but rarely. I was actually on a listing presentation with a realtor, and the seller asked like, how often have you double-ended a property because of the social media exposure? And that's like a little humbling in the moment, but I thought deeply on that, and it's not just about like, does it convert right there, but I'm sure you've had buyer clients that probably sent you a listing that you didn't send them. So you know they're searching. So those three platforms, I think it's more top of funnel, more they're not getting enough, and then you want to be able to send them somewhere. So whether it's realtor.ca or on your YouTube where you really get to tell the story. And so when you're in the mindset on YouTube, you're ready to watch a 20-minute video, half an hour video, even an hour-long video. And I know a lot of realtors think that people will not watch a 2-minute full-length video. They think it's like almost like worthless, but they do it because the sellers want. But then when we post on your brokerage's channels, it's like a 13-minute video is not long enough. They want to see more. They want to see in there. And those, I think, are the most important viewers because if, especially in your category, like the discerning buyer, they want to know all of those intricate details that even me, like I'm around it all the time, I don't know. Like I don't know the materials, I don't know that. So you get to sell that dream, that lifestyle, and have some time with the audience. And then, like if you're thinking even for your own benefit as realtors, the more time people spend with you, whether in real life or on video, the more likely they're going to want to work with you. And when they want to work with you, there's a concept. You don't want to sell in a commoditized space. You want to sell in a vacuum. You want to sell when they want you, because now you're not, oh, but they'll do it for less, or they'll do it for less. Now they're like, oh, Olga.
They almost feel like I've had people like that. I've never seen them, but when they show up, say even to a show, it feels like they've already known you for years because they've been following you. They've watched your videos, and it's actually quite exciting to do that. And talking about clients, I've had clients in the past time. I even had clients who are like overseas. I feel like now the access to great media helps us realtors to even make transactions. So I've had clients overseas. They saw the photos. They asked me. I send them a full video. They felt like they walked through the house. They're like, let's draft an offer. I'm like, you haven't seen the site. They're like, we've seen enough. Let's draft an offer. And then there was a deal to be had, only because all of this media was available and they could essentially just see. And as you said, an agent is walking them in the video I was, but I mean, an agent is walking them through the property and it feels like it's a listing presentation as though they were at the house. Right?
Yeah, like your main, I think, main important role is obviously to guide them, but then you're also the salesperson. And so when you go to a car dealership, it's not just the car there and you look at it. Like somebody is kind of positioning the product, whatever it is, and saying like, oh, what do you enjoy? Oh, this is good for you because of that. And the kind of going to bat for the product or the home in this case. And my mom is a realtor as well, and so I've gotten to see, like, I got the best testimonials from her. I don't use them because it's like, oh, my mom. But yeah, in the same breath, she sold a $2 million place on the harborfront because we had a Matterport. We did a 3D tour. We did crazy videos, and the whole building says like, oh, like we love it. Like, when you're walking in the hallway, and she really helped me become a better marketer and to do a better job for you guys because even a little thing like this is a wide angle lens right now, and that's closer.
Yeah.
And I used to shoot always on something like that. And she said, I want to feel like I've got a shot that I walk into a coffee shop and they say they recognize me. And when it's so far out like that, they don't do that. Yeah, and so I'm always kind of just trying to think about the things that maybe others don't. And that thing spiraled into multiple. I went to another listing presentation with her and got to see the person say, I called you because of the videos that you did for those two. And when it came time to negotiate for commission, uh, in marketing, we call it a USP, unique selling proposition. And so that was an easy thing to point at and say, I can't do it for that rate because I'm going to do this and nobody else is going to do this. And you know better than I have, like,
What's included in the package?
yeah.
Sure. Are you able to share a story or an experience you've had perhaps with a client where you've either had a challenging angle property that you've solved with your photography, or maybe a story where you coming in and doing the media and the marketing resulted in a faster or a higher sale?
The second one there, I'm always like I'll leave it to the stats of like they do sell faster and all that. I don't like making claims that I can't back up. And so I've heard sellers crying when they see our stuff. I've heard of buyers say like we bought it because we loved the video, we love what you did. But part of it is still like I mean, if it was any less, would you have still bought it? So I don't like thinking of it in or I don't like making claims like that. But on the kind of saving the day side, we've got countless stories. Like I love the opportunity when, you think the listing's lost, or some people always ask like, what do you do? Or like, you just list it and nothing happens. Yeah. So in moments like that where we get called up and say like, I need to do something special, that's my most favorite. Whether it's a realtor's first package and they say like, I don't need something big. I'm like, no, this is the time where we do everything. It's going to cost more than you wanted. You never have to do it again if you're budget conscious. But now you get to say, this is what I do. Yeah. But if you start with just photos and you botch this job and you got nothing, so saving the day for them is a little less impactful when we have one of the busy realtors and they say client's upset, or they want this, or some other realtor is trying to cut my grass and saying that we're going to do this, and that's where I get competitive and say like, no, nobody else is gonna yeah, like we're not even going to do that. I laugh at that idea. We're going to do this.
One thing I can share is, for example, we list properties all year round, right? And so I've had properties where you put it up in the wintertime and everything is covered. Like I was showing one earlier today, and it's got a beautiful gazebo, swimming pool, like everything is covered under snow. They just look outside and all they see is like trees without leaves and like a backyard just straight covered with snow. And so in those moments, I know that I've resorted back to videos which were done in the summer, or even videos which may have been done in the winter, but you guys did some magic and you could incorporate based on like the client could send some summer shots. And then based on that, you could incorporate that and really present a visual to the buyer of how it looks like in the summer. And that sold them. It's kind of like, hey guys, yes, you're buying in February, March, whatever it is, you're closing by the time it's summer, and this is what you're getting. This is what you're going to be enjoying. So that really helped me as a realtor in a number of deals where I could really show, not just tell them how imagine wonderful it's going to look, but actually show them.
What kind of gets you excited? Because you just kind of opened my eyes up to something. It's like, yeah, we're totally on one side way more than the other. We don't really get to interact, but it's really nice to hear those kind of stories. Like, what other kind of things is it nice to have in your back pocket, like that makes your life easy, like that?
Well, some things I know you guys, I was gonna get into a question in terms of like virtual staging. But I would say it goes past, I know with you guys, it goes past just virtual staging. We call it virtual enhancement. So for example, sometimes we might have a property, and at least in the past as well, it worked very well for me to be able to target a whole new pool of buyers by presenting of how that property can look renovated, for example. So like you have an original home, right? And some people just of the traditional elements, and maybe the paint is red and blue and orange and all the colors of the rainbow, right? And then they can't see past that. So having those virtually enhanced images where all you did is simply show them how the kitchen can be done or how a few bathrooms can be updated, just re-transformed and opened it up to a whole pool of buyers who are like, oh, this can be a contemporary interior.
That hits home with me because I'm that person that I'm not creative in that way. Like I love making videos and I like capturing things, but the creation side of making a space beautiful, like I cannot. And so if I walk into a place, like I would get the most out of, oh, this can actually be something.
But she did that for one of my listings. Remember, we had a house under construction. We were selling it mid-construction, and we walked through the place, and I'm like, hey, we need to show how it's going to look like the end product. And we ended up selling it because you did that for us, for me, for that listing, right? So, and that sold within a week, like.
That we've got experts for that. So,
Teamwork.
Yeah, we virtually stage and do that. But I think this is where one of those super utilitarian like uses of having a realtor guide you through that, and why you should keep in touch with them, treat them nice, because when you ask them for advice, they know what sells. And so I think you and I could both relate to this. I hate when the door opens in a weird way and I can't get the shot. And I know builders aren't going to change the way things are just so I can get a better photo. But I'm sure you're like, who thought of this layout, or why like this? And so you also give us some direction and say, this is where I think would be the direction to go to make the most impact. People like this kind of stuff, people like that kind of stuff, because whether it's me, my team, we all got different tastes, but what happens in the market. You have the feedback from, dozens of realtors saying buy one like this. They wanted a lighter room or that. So props to you for that.
Thanks.
Team effort.
Yes, for sure, for sure. Before, it used to be just a video of a property, right? Like, the camera lens moves around and, it's as if you're walking through the home. Now I'm seeing a lot more agents present and talking about it. And there's a huge range of quality and content. Like, I feel like right now there's a lot of talk how important that is, but there's also, the market is flooded. So perhaps because you are a marketing professional, for my personal curiosity, what do you find, like, what are the tips? How do you do it? Like, do you stay and walk through the whole property the whole time? Or do you just do a little intro and then what did you find as, an industry professional? Like, how do you make those videos without really boring the viewer with your face?
That's a good question, because it's a total shift in the way things are done, and it's totally different than the YouTube opportunity. But I know the videos you're talking about on Instagram and TikTok, it's these fast paced, there's talking, walking. There's a key underlying strategy there of Instagram, just like any other platform, rewards you based on how long people are watching. And so the reason the first clip is probably somebody walking, and I'm still experimenting with our stuff, getting interesting shots when there is no realtor, it's a better intro. But having a person's face, having someone on camera, dressed to the nines, looking good, having a very punchy, we call it a hook, and that should tease enough of like, this is what you're about to see, because on Reels, you're scrolling and you see it, and then, okay, oh, what did she just say? And then you're seeing very fast pace. And so this is a total shift. A lot of people ask, like, how much for a 1 minute video or a 2 minute video? Like the duration matters, and these are way more expensive than a normal video, because it's so hard to put this together. But you want to script it, you want to keep the attention, so a very punchy hook, and then it's a key. It's very hard on the editors, because they have to pick the best shots, and very hard on the videographers too, because it's through the lens of retention, like what will keep the audience attached. And so again, we're then placing a few more clips of like what will keep the eyes on this, and then it's another line. So if you want a framework for this, it's that very punchy, like impactful hook, and then 2 to 5 additional short lines. You're not saying your name, you're not saying your brokerage, you're not saying the address. You can put that in the comments, in the comment section caption, and that is a way to kind of get attention. So when you go to boost a post on Instagram, you might like, if you spend $100 a day for 4 days, you might get 40,000 views, and so that's $400. And I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but it's actually quite expensive to like force Instagram to show your video. Yeah. So why not just create content that people want to watch? That's the opportunity I see there on Instagram. And whether or not it helps sell the home, like I think all attention helps, but I'm approaching it from a business perspective of, if you get more attention and you respond to comments and you open up the channels of communication and speak with more people, it should definitely be a no-brainer to start venturing into that category. And I would say you're looking to spend like $1,000, give or take a couple $100, and then depending on if you want to have actors and spend more time kind of making something more impactful. I've seen people charge $5,000 for something like that. So make it count.
Yeah, for sure. So what is something new in store from APV that you can share with us? Anything you're working on, anything you're launching that will be accessible to us?
A buddy of mine is a realtor, calls me the mad scientist. So I'm always
always inventing something.
yeah. We actually have. If you look on Treb, we are one of the authorized service providers for like the virtual office and stuff like that. So we're doing some cool things with automations, like with your listings, like even drafting and publishing them, but more so it can connect to the platform that we're building for you to keep in contact with your clients and post on social. So that's still a little bit of a ways out. And then the other thing we're working on is a bit of a community for realtors, because not everybody can afford the help to get me or my team to do certain things for them. So we're putting together a kind of a community, and a little bit of a one step above that is like one-on-one time consulting with me, because I think for anybody that has, whether it's a young family member or a social media person, I still strongly believe like you kind of want someone that is like an in-house like chief marketing officer. Not to big myself up like that, but somebody that is obsessed with metrics, KPIs, that can help you decide how to spend money in a way that matters most. And I think if we teach your social media person like how to retention edit, give you feedback on what might be a better way to communicate an idea or storytelling or showing up on camera, and then also have like-minded realtors to communicate ideas, because we have that as a videography company. I have a very good friend that is a competitor, but we get to talk about all the cool ideas, and we know that, yes, there's a weird conflict there, but together we're iterating much faster than everybody else.
As I always say, even in our field, I always tell other realtors we're working together, and let's work together, because I feel like when you are working together, you get so much more done, and you can actually raise the industry standard together. So
I think it's huge. I think this is actually one more kind of opportunity. We're always pushing the boundaries of the video and the creation, and it's not like we've got a new product, but we've always got new ideas that we're working on. And I think the biggest opportunity, and we're doing more and more of this, is long-form tour videos. So we've done some with you, and I think the latest video that's doing really well on the Cohen channel is at 160,000 views, like 10,000 hours of watch time. And so more of that to come. But also, I know one of the most common things realtors don't want to do is like, I'll say like, what's the best school for such and such? And they say, well, I don't want to isolate the audience because they want to be able to service clients all over the city, and I know there's nuance to this, but when it comes to like video and branding, I would lean into a specific neighborhood, do more YouTube videos, talk about one type of property, one area, one location, and you can always do stuff outside of that. But just like photographers and videographers, when I was new, struggling for business, I wanted to take weddings, I wanted to take cars, I wanted to anything I could get my hands on. And then if somebody asked me what I did, like you guys would never use me if I went to my site and it was all of those. And I think the same can be extrapolated into real estate. Is yes, luxury or real estate's good, or condo specialist, but imagine how impactful it is if there's like a Liberty Village is a neighborhood and somebody said, I only sell condos in Liberty Village. Yes, that isolates the rest of the city, but for anybody in Liberty Village, it's like, oh, okay, this is like, nobody else is saying that.
Yeah, this is the go-to.
Yeah, and so I think, you know, there's a sense to how much you could go that way, but I think long-form YouTube, let people spend more time with you, develop those weird parasocial relationships, they call them,
Sure.
is a huge opportunity.
I guess maybe one of my last questions. You've been amazing. Maybe you can share a challenge, whether for you personally in the career or with a client who needed to do something, and how you overcame that.
So many challenges. I'm a great photographer and videographer, businessman, still working that out.
Like one of the things I can think of is sometimes there's challenge properties, right? Like there's the properties that are very straightforward, and then there's maybe some that are very particular, say, right? And then they've been, say they were selling for a couple of years, they went through 2 or 3 different agents, so every agent had a photographer come in and photograph that property. Here I am, say third agent, and it's always good to be the third one. Third agent coming on, taking the property, and you gotta, like you can't just go into the space, and you know the space has been already exposed to the public for the last 2 years through like 2 or 3 other photographers. What is something, or have you been in a situation right now like that? Have you been in a situation like that, and how did you tackle that? What kind of a marketing campaign?
That happens to us quite a bit. It's always like nervous anxiousness, like, oh, I'm directly compared to someone, but it's also the competition. I'll give an example of one kind of like that. This realtor is very busy, does quite well, but does not kind of work in your category of properties. And this was a $10 million listing, his first one for him ever, and put that pressure on us. So we got to do something. And I'm like, okay. At the time, there was the only way to get an outdoor Matterport was to buy a $20,000 LiDAR camera that I crazily bought. We've since sold it, but we were the first kind of real estate tour company to be able to take exterior 3D, because we thought in the neighborhood it would be an overseas buyer. And we said, like, let's make it as easy as possible for someone to give you money, and let's say that we're like, you know, let's check off every box. Could we do the best photos? Yes, we did them. Could we do multiple videos? Yes, we did them. I didn't realize how long it would take. I think if I remember the calculations, over 4 different days, 40 hours just for the Matterport alone. I had 3 people doing the, including myself, the rest of the media for a full day. That was one of the hardest and most kind of like all hands on deck, and everything went well, and the client was happy, their realtor was happy, their clients were happy. So that's one that comes to mind. And then you'd be surprised how often like we get the call, like they don't do it right from the beginning, or they you know, the bar gets moved up, whether I don't know what goes on in the cellar. I feel bad for you guys. Like, you guys put up with a lot of emotional stuff. Like, God bless. I like, you know.
We all have multiple job descriptions, not just selling real estate.
Yeah.
There's multiple. How did you overcome a visual challenge, let's say? How did you step into a property that has already been featured by multiple photographers and really transformed it?
I mean, when faced with a challenge like that, we've kind of we've done the twilight photos. We've done the day to night transition, which is like a very kind of hard to achieve technical look. It's like you're moving and then like it just kind of blends into like the evening shot. There's always like one next level up, and so we've done it a few times. But the most common and I think biggest difference anybody could make with the listing is definitely that twilight. The fake twilights are still something, like you can kind of digitally do it. It's a little bit cheaper, but like a real twilight shot in the hour after sunset, where you get that beautiful glow. That's the first easiest thing, and then the second, well, it gets a lot harder from there. But the video during that time, it's such a short window where it looks good before it gets that. So
well, then everybody just knows that you will have a solution in the back pocket, whatever the challenge may be.
the less than visual, one of the, like, I like with the discerning clients that the realtors have, I like to be able to have like hard data-backed answers to questions. So when we go to listing presentations with realtors and do that, I like to, it's not just we did this thing that nobody else did. It's like, we do this type of video, this is why, this is what the definition of success that we can all agree on looks like. So X amount of people leads, and the realtor's gonna come back to you with feedback from all of the opt-ins. And so coming at it with a more strategic solution, because I think the biggest thing people get value out of what we do is when something is being tracked somewhere. Like the realtor that doesn't advertise, doesn't tell their sellers to share the media, that isn't tracking anything, and if they don't respect even or can't even tell the difference between very high quality stuff and mid or low quality stuff, they won't get it. But if you're looking at my ads, last time I ran $100, I got this many leads. Oh, this like double. So I think that's where we have made the biggest difference. And from the business perspective, a lot of realtors don't do what you guys do and understand these concepts. So helping them kind of convey their value, that's I think one of the hardest things to a lot of people. Do you ever have trouble conveying your value, or do you find it? Do you hear that a lot, that realtors have that issue?
I would say maybe if it comes to showing value, sometimes you sit down with a potential seller and you tell them, you describe to them everything that goes into your marketing package, including like the social, and depending, maybe it's like the age group. Sometimes they don't understand, like they don't see the value. They're like, oh, okay, so you're gonna put a little video. Like, what is that gonna do? So when the things you're talking about, that really, everybody understands numbers, right? So if you tell them like, hey, well, you get 1 million views, like our last video got 1 million views, and then we had like 10 inquiries about the property, and like you just show them how like this 1-minute video can actually generate this huge exposure to their property. So then they are like, oh, makes sense. This is actually an added value that you're bringing to the table. So that's stuff that I've experienced.
That's helpful to know.
Yeah. Thank you for coming onto my YouTube channel. I'm excited to share this with everybody. And as always, if you guys like the video, please leave us a comment, subscribe. And if there are any questions, drop them down below. I'll be happy to share them with Cole. And I can't recommend you enough that, if it's a professional photographer, videographer who will do a good job, here you go.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, leave a question in the comments. If you want access to like some scripting tools and stuff we have, if you Google Amazing Photo Video Toronto, there's a book online button. You can schedule a call with me or just send an email to team@amazingphotovideo.com. But happy to help.
Sounds good. Thank you.